Hi, the purpose of this video is to help you to understand how to set up and run a tournament in the Leon program. First, to be able to get started, you have to have access and download the program onto your computer. You will need to email the contact person in your federation that has that. In the US, Betsy Gilman and Tina McCauley would be able to give you that information. Once you have the program downloaded onto your computer, you will open up the program. I'd like to note that when you open the program, you should always check to see that you have the latest version of the program being used. To start a tournament, you will click New Barefoot Competition. You will name your tournament. In the US, we use the year and the name of the tournament. For the purposes of what we're doing today, I'm going to call this a test because it's not really a real tournament. You can see other tournaments that have been loaded into the Leon program I work off of. Once you've named the tournament, the competition setup assistant comes up. To me, this is a very valuable step. As you set up the tournament, this helps you then with other items as you go. You can always go back in and modify once you see if the tournament has switched or changed to anything. So again, the competition name for this purposes is the 2020 test. The venue place is the location. Organizing country is the country that the tournament will be ran in. This is an important part to click because depending on where you're at will depend on what type of categories that get pulled up when you are setting up the tournament. So there's European categories are different than the US categories. You will notice that as we go. The competition type, this would be a national within our own federation. The competition code is the year. The USA would be how we would do it in the US, and then a 3-digit number. Our sanctioning numbers in the US are very similar. So it's the year with a B and a 3-digit number. That will be the 3-digit number that you would use. Site code would be as if you're running two different ski lakes and you would want to designate that. That rarely happens here in the US. Beginning and the end date of your tournament. Jury panel is your officials for the tournament. In the US, to be able to sanction a tournament, you would know your chief judges for the tournament. So we are recommending at this point that at a minimum you add your chief judge, your chief scorer, your chief drivers, and your homologator. You can add other officials once you get into the tournament as you go. I'd like to also note that you can designate their country and you can also designate what level of an official that they are. Then you would click Next. You would determine how many rounds that you are running at your tournament. 1, 2, 3, however many rounds. You can also change the name of the round. Like round 1, if you would name it, you can name it what you would like to name it, or you can leave what is defaulted. Events. You need to select the events that you're running. Some tournaments don't run jump. You can unselect that, or you can keep it selected. The homologation level. If it's world record capable, if it's national record capable, you click on which it is for the homologation for the tournament. You also designate how many judges. These are the defaulted times per skier for the turnaround. You can edit this here, or I can show you later once we get past the setup assistant how you can modify and adjust those. In the US, the way that we calculate our overall, because we can ski out of category, we unclick this at this time. Emmanuel is working on updating the program that it can calculate our overall to the way that we would like it. Next is the categories or your events that you're skiing. So you would select men and women, if that's what is being skied, girls, boys, those are the juniors for the US Open, and select which ones. For this, I'm going to just select a few. You will note that there's Women's C. That is not even a category for us, but I will show you in the program how you can unclick things that aren't being skied. Divisions, you would tick the box of divisions when you want to divide the category into different divisions. Otherwise, just leave it as mixed. This is the category table that I was explaining earlier at the first page. So there's different categories for different countries. So make sure at the first page of the competition that you're designating the country that you want to use for the categories. Series. This would only be used when the standing lists of disciplines and categories are divided into different series according to their best results. If no division in series is made, this window doesn't have to be used and you just clicked Next. Here is your event schedule. So if you do not have Girls A skiing, you can unclick them and then it will not be a selection once you are creating your tournament and have your event schedule. Please note though, you have to go through and unclick all of them at this time. You can enter the start date as far as if it's on Saturday, and you can enter start times at this page. I typically wait and do this once the tournament is set up and I see then more of what numbers I have, and it helps me to adjust it as I go. Classifications. This is where you will classify the type of tournament you're running. A preliminary round and a final with a tiebreaker of the previous, best of 2 rounds, however you're choosing to designate and run your tournament. Classification mode, is it by their score, their overall, or points from based on overall? You can create your performance classifications. The next is the teams. You can create overall team classifications by their country, or you can do a league, a club, or a designated team on how you would want to choose to do that. You also can designate the count per skiers, per team, or per country. You can also designate which round that you pull the information from. Display, this is really your preference. This is what the results will look like when you go to print them or when you print a running list. If you can display their country, if you've noted seeing the Leon program results before, that's where the flag of the country the skier is from shows up by their name. If you designated any other type of designation of team, you could also include that here. The skier name display format is your personal preference. I prefer that that's last name, comma, first name, but you can choose to add that how you want. The jump distance display, you can do meter, feet, or meter and feet. If you were running more than one lake, you could click in here and actually name the lake versus being Lake 1 or Lake 2. Then it'll ask you, are you finished? Are you ready to start your this competition? You can click Finish. What occurs next is many things start opening. So the event schedule opened, you can close that. I will now stop at this point and I'm going to create videos on what are the next steps.